Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to do a storyteller spotlight on Jason Pearson. I had actually shot a video of Jason's work about a week and a half ago, and I wasn't really crazy about it once I was finished, and I kind of put it on ice. I was going to maybe try to edit it, or I don't know what, but I figured someone had actually asked about Jason Pearson recently, and I don't know if maybe I mentioned it or something like that, and I was like, it would be a good idea to revisit it. And this is a different. I did the video that I did before was Savage Dragon Blood and Guts, which I will come back to because it's actually very, very cool. But I thought we would take a look at body bags and just give me like 1 minute to give like a few updates, and then we'll get into this. But people have been asking me about Blaster Kid, and so something happened in early July of the year that just passed, 2019, like about a week into the month, and a couple weeks before Comic-Con. And my dad's roommate came by, and my dad's a Vietnam vet, and he saw some pretty, whatever you want to call it over there. He was in the 1st Infantry, and his brother was killed over there, and my dad had hit a real low point, and this isn't the first time in his life that it's happened, but this was probably one of the worst. And it was real shocking, incredibly scary, and it's still going on. And it just basically sidelined me. So I know people are interested in Blaster Kid, but I kind of went into survival mode and had to just kind of survive basically the last, I don't even know, whatever it is, 6 or 7 months. It's been tough. But anyway, I figured I'd be honest about it, because it's like, if I don't say anything, then people will just go, oh, he's a flake or whatever, he's fucking around. But I'm not. I mean, it's just, it's a really tough situation, and it's very scary. So anyway, but all right, that's it. That's the update. Fun, right? All right, now let's look at Jason Pearson. Okay, so let's do it. Jason draws great cars. He draws great figures. He picks killer camera angles. He warps perspective. He does it all. It's amazing. His stuff is great, and he got better and better throughout his career. I mean, I think one of the first things that I know that he did was, I think it's an X-Men annual. I'll try to look and find the exact number and put in the description box. I have the comic. I have all these. I actually, was funny is looking at this stuff before I had done this video a couple of days ago. I would love an absolute edition of this. Like black and white would be so freaking killer. But they look great in color. He's got fantastic colors. So we're going to kind of look at the storytelling. We're going to enjoy the art, but we're going to try to like just look at what he's doing and kind of talk about his choice of shots, how he moves the camera around, how he tweaks things, and it'll be great. This is a fantastic shot. I mean, he's got like eye level is like right about here, and so you start seeing the bottom planes of all this stuff. He's got a light source coming from above, so the lower planes are shadows here, and if you notice, there's no lighting in the pen and ink here. And Jason did ultimately start, he didn't work digitally, but he started dropping in his blacks digitally. So let's shut this, start moving into the pages. Okay. I'm not sure if it's going to open them in order. No, it's not. Okay. So. Yeah, and what's kind of cool about this collection is it covers a pretty wide variety of styles that he used in the book. So if you're a fan of this, I would definitely say that Michael Golden would be someone that you might enjoy, it's like the attention to detail. This is nuts. I wouldn't blame anyone for wanting to drop the blacks in on this digitally, because filling in all these windows would be tough. It's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. But yeah, so this is, if I'm not mistaken, this would be a little bit later in the run on body bags. All right, well, we'll see. I'm trying, like I'm going to stress this up front, is these are entertainment with a little bit of sort of information, but I'll always be honest moving forward if I'm not sure on something, because I don't want to give misinformation. The more people that are getting on YouTube and doing sort of book overviews, the more bad information is getting out there. I was watching some videos of a guy yesterday, and I know he had his heart in the right place, but oh my God, I didn't comment, but there was so much stuff that he was saying that was wrong, and I'm just thinking, like, God, people are going to be watching this guy's videos, and like, if that's what's going to carry over, and that's going to be the educational sort of standard of fact, oh my God, it's going to be terrible. This, I mean, there's a very pixelated reproductions of this stuff, but I mean, looking at it like this, you'd almost think that it was drawn digitally. But again, it's difficult to say just based on the scan because it's super bitmappy. But this is great. So, no panel border on this. It's a very, very, just powerful image. And again, if you look at Jason's stuff, because he came in it from a traditional stance, you have the size thing that I was talking about. Like, this takes up a lot of real estate on the page. It's literally bigger than this panel in terms of scale. So he's got his big, medium, and then small. And that's always very exciting for the eye. The other thing that Jason is quite good at is directing your eye through the page. I mean, literally, these knives are pointing down. What I said in one of the earliest videos, I said weapons are always a great a tool to use to direct the eye. And I mean, Jason did it here. I mean, these red knives are basically just telling you, like, look down here. This wall sends you right here. This shape sends you here. I mean, the guys from Gaijin being a small studio of 5 to 6 artists, I think, initially. And this will be one of those cases where I'm going to go based on my memory, and I'm not going to say that this is fact. But from what I remember, Gaijin was Adam Hughes, Brian Stelfreeze, Cully Hamner, Jason, and then Dave Johnson. And there were 2 inkers, which was Carl Story and Jason Martin. And if I'm forgetting anyone from the original crew, I apologize. And anyway, they were all phenomenal artists, and they were all really, really great comic book artists in particular. But again, so sends you here, moves you this way. All this stuff is sending you this, and then he sends you up. And remember, we'll look at how he handles this last panel, because Bill Sienkiewicz would always send you up, and a lot of artists will send you down. Neither is right or wrong, but it is an interesting thing that you'll notice a sweeping motion with the direction of the shot one way or the other, and we'll see. And generally, what I find is artists tend to have one that they prefer. So I don't know why that is. It's probably just a thing. Yes, he kind of sends you up here too. See that? See the little sweeping motion? But again, this is such a great panel. I'll zoom in a sec. So look at this. Like, this is a nice shot. Whenever you do a front-on shot, circles I've talked about before, all that stuff makes you stop. Anything like this reads more flat because there's a circle. He's looking straight at you. This is going to stop you in your tracks. You don't want this kind of shot really on your page unless there's a reason that you want your readers to pause. But then he does this. Look at this. He sends you right through this scene. It's so beautiful. And then you move out. Gun. Where does the gun? The gun tells you. Telling you. The gun tells you, look this way. And then boom. Weapons. They're your pointers. I'm going to put that on a shirt. It's going to be passive income for me, right? A friend at Starbucks said that today. He's like, you need to do more shirts for passive income. All right, that is a great page. Oh man, here we go. All right, so I meant to zoom in on that last one, but I won't make that mistake again. Again, these will slow you down and make you sort of like take in each moment. This is very nice. And again, he's still got this feeling of moving you this way. Do you see this? This isn't accidental. This is all created by him. And again, he's an upper. You got uppers and downers. He sends you up. You know, his types are interesting. you'll notice that again a similarity to maybe someone like Michael Golden, where the aesthetics of the faces can be a little unusual compared to like I don't know if you want to call it pretty face artists. It is interesting that storytellers tend to not focus on the aesthetics of the characters as much. It's not to say that they're unattractive. I think his girls are pretty cute. So this is interesting. In this panel, I almost really kind of feel more like he's pulling me this way, just because of the slant of it. But it works either way. But yeah, I'm almost reading it like this, which is fine. He moves you here. He's got this beautiful stuttering effect of height, and you know. Again, you could argue that elbow is sort of sending you, you know, back around. And don't get so hung up on like the Z thing. I know that that's sort of a generic that they tell you, but I mean, you can really kind of play with the compositional stuff quite a bit more. But I mean, this is beautiful. Like these arced shapes are always very things, and this is beautiful right here. Do you see this? This kind of circle shape that he's got, and this one you could argue he sends you down. You know. Again, it doesn't matter. It's just kind of a fun thing to look at. This is great. Again, kind of a pause beat because they're sort of standing upright and everything is like this. So, all right. This is cool. And, you know, again, the debris sort of directs you to this. This is over here. And like this is nice. I mean, he kind of rotates this angle. I was going to try to point that out. Is like you can take kind of a straight up and down shot, although this is 3-point perspective, but he sort of turned the camera just the tiniest bit, meaning that like well, here I'll show you like instead of having it straight up and down. You know what I mean? Like resist the urge to do too much stuff like this. And I'm not saying that this is a bad shot, but that straight up and down is going to slow things down. But him turning it like that just gives it a little bit more pizzazz. And it's the same exact drawing. I mean, it's the same idea of. I'll find other examples of that as we move along. And look, I mean, there's sometimes there's content in the script that's going to be very, very difficult to land all the sort of keynote things that you want to do on a nicely designed page. But that doesn't mean that you can't have that level of effort. And if anything, I personally prefer people that spend a lion's share of their effort into designing their pages rather than just filling stuff full of mindless detail. But there are some people that can do both quite well. You know what I mean? They have the really cool composition, and they also, you know, deliver it with detail. So it's something that you'll have to kind of decide as you move along. He has a lot of 3-point perspective. I'm noticing that, like, some people will set things up more with 2. Was interesting. So the first time that I ever was aware of Jason Pearson was before I broke in, and it was a professional inker. It was a studio here in San Diego that they were kind of doing their version of Gaijin, and the guy that had given me sort of photocopies to work off had suggested that I seek out Jason Pearson at Comic-Con and have him review my work, because he knew that Jason would be brutally honest and give me a pretty, like, you know what I mean, like a real sound feedback and not just blow me off and stuff like that. And so I did actually get the critique from him, and he was wearing a pimp suit at the show. I think they all were, all meaning all the Gaijin guys one day wore like pimp suits. So he was wearing almost like a zoot suit as he brutally went over my work. No, it wasn't that bad. I was getting kind of decent at that point, so there wasn't as much to sort of like rip my head off on. This is nice. Man, such good storytelling. He's so great. He's so good. Look at this shot right here. Man. It was incredible how talented that group of guys were. I don't remember if at this exact moment Dave Johnson was drawing Chain Gang War, but all of them were very, very good pencilers. I mean, They're all sort of legends in the game still to this day, I think. Stallfreeze is great. Adam Hughes, Cully, they're all really, really good. This is nice. So this is all one story, but you're going to see in a second when we get to like the next story in this book how his style actually changes and evolves. This is great. I'm resisting the urge to compare this stuff to stuff because the video that I was talking about, the guy with all the bad misinformation, he was constantly comparing the stuff to other stuff, and it was annoying me because some of them I didn't think were very accurate. So it's funny. I'm like, all right, like, take a note from this and just shut up and enjoy the art. You can refer people to stuff that maybe is similar, but you know, don't project. This is great. All the little rendering. It's a very, very, I mean, all this black on the characters too would take forever to fill in. Oh my gosh. But I remember there was a point where he was even selling originals that the blacks weren't filled in. So it would literally just be all this stuff outlined, and there would be X's there, or even maybe not even X's. And I'm not saying it was these exact pages, but there was definitely a point where he was doing that, because this, I'm telling you, the blacks on this page could take 3 or 4 hours. I had a Chris Boccolo page right when I first started inking him that was like that. I spent almost a whole night just filling in blacks because it was all these like checkerboards and stuff like that. I mean, there's no fast way to really do it. And these could be digital whites. Yeah, I'm thinking that this is when he was doing a little bit more of the stuff digitally. But again, I think that there was actually a finished drawing in pencil. This is great. Man, his buildings are so good. I don't know if Jason is online currently. He kind of was going through like different periods where it was like he just seemed like he was kind of done with social media, and then he would come back, and I don't really know what ultimately kind of came of that. I haven't really seen or heard of him in probably 10 years, so I don't really know, but he's still one of the best. He really is. And if you ever see this, Jason, we all wish you well and love your work. I mean, there's so many people that are huge fans of yours and highly, highly influenced by you, so this is great, man. That's so cool. So tempting to do, but man, you'd need an assistant to fill in all those blacks. Unless you were going to do like 3 comics a year. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is so crazy. The X's will kill you, meaning like Xing the blacks in. Oh man. His helicopter is great. So fun. It's a great little shot. And here we'll see storytelling on this. So let's do this. So we've got this great motion moving through here. He uses the propeller blade to sort of direct you this way. This motion, you really are going to feel, you know, he's going to chuck this knife. And so he does this great thing. This works very, very well. And he, you know, just the whole motion sweeps you this way. And this kind of sweeps you back around. You've got this very, very nice, you feel this? Again, it's not accidental. That's all part of his compositional thing, and then he sends you up again with that. It's like, you see that? Perfection. It's amazing how this stuff works out. So this is what I discovered when I was doing my heavy metal story, is I would start to lay out pages, and I would have maybe a panel here and a panel here, and things were starting to come together. What ultimately ends up happening, at least for me, was I would get one panel that I really, really liked, and then I would start to really kind of massage everything else around what was starting to work that I thought was the best. So that could be a similar process for these really good pencilers. Is the fantasy that I had was that this all kind of came to them, not easily, but you know what I mean? It's sort of like it was more, oh yeah, you know, I'm going to do a shot like this here, and then I'll set up this here and this here. And it could be like that for some of them. But what I found is I would just get stuff down, and then I would start seeing stuff that was better than the other stuff, and that stuff started to impact the other panels. And then ultimately I would work something out that I liked and worked all the way through. It didn't take that long. I would say normally a page would take maybe a half hour to an hour to just get a rough down, and then I would bounce it off the writer that I was working with, and then he would give me like recommendations, and I would kind of go back in and play with anything that he thought maybe wasn't clear, or just whatever, if there was any kind of tweak. So I did appreciate the feedback. This is nice. Such a great shot. This is a longer story than I remembered. I actually thought that this was only like an 8 or 10 pager, but this is great. So you've got this really nice motion here, and again, use all your objects in your drawings. They're your tools. This is your worlds that you're building and stuff like that. But this is great. I mean, it really is a powerful draw to send you this way, and then his shoulders send you this way. This bounces you over here, and then this sends you right into this nice thing here. This is great. He uses the perspective to really move you quite quickly this direction. The spacing of things also creates momentum. So these smaller lines will move faster. Anything that's close together, your eye reads quicker. As lines start to spread out, you're going to read them slower. So what he does is there's a level of motion that he's creating here. If you think about animation, it's like if he had more of these, like if there was 5 more of them back here, the more space between them, the slower your eye is going to move from object to object. But if he wanted to move you really quickly here, he could have one here, and again, you're spacing them out. But your eye does actually read abstract stuff that way, whether you know it or not. I discovered that in high school. I had a friend that was really into art, and we would draw together. And I started picking up on a lot of those little subtleties when we would draw together, because it was all improvisational. Like we would just start at the corner and try to build these really, really intricate drawings that would just spread across the page. And it's a fun challenge. It's hard, and after I worked on them for a few months and then into a year, I really started to get good with it. But you start to notice things in the art, little subtle things. So then I didn't even get into comics for another like 5 to 7 years, but I had that foundation of abstract composition. It sounds weird, but I mean, a lot of that is this, when I'm explaining what he's doing. This is great. Let's take a look at this. I mean, obviously the word balloon helps, but if it wasn't there, I'm going to try to do something really quick with this. Grab the brush. I want to get rid of as much of this word balloon as possible, just for the hell of it, and see how it reads without it. This can sometimes affect, though, the overall drawing, so because I'm doing it so fast that we might lose some of his more important shapes. Also, the color can help sort of lead the eye, but I just want to see the drawing. Okay, so this open space is sending you this way, and then this kind of directs you here. It's a little encrypted. This is a fantastic page, though, but I was just kind of curious to see it. I love these repetitive, the windows and the repetition of it is really, really cool. It's just great. Man, he's so fucking good. I don't want to get too hung up on it. Yeah, God, he is nuts. Whew, Jason, you are on fire, man. Damn. Yeah, I would go for an artist edition of these in 2 seconds. Take my money. God, they should just reprint. Like, he could do a 250-page frickin' full-on body bags, not absolute edition, but absolute our artifact or our artist edition. Oh my God, it would be so killer. He's got to have black and white high-res files of all this stuff. And again, I mean, even if some of the blacks were filled in digitally, it would be fascinating to see. They could do the penciled page if it was digitally inked. You know what I mean? There's a lot of formatting that you could do. And if you had to split into 2 books, I wouldn't complain either. Honestly. The Lone Wolf and Cub is interesting because it actually shows the page reversed on the left side, the kind of more how it printed, and then you have the original on the right side. And stuff like that is cool too. I mean, it's that director's cut sort of vibe. So this is really cool, and this kind of is what I'm talking about, like with the repetitive patterns and spacing and stuff like that. Like small, you kind of read faster too. This guy's he's really really fucking good. God damn, this is great. Really quick read on this. The smoke puts you in here. He's got this lovely juxtaposition of this stuff. This all brings you over here. I mean, he's definitely pointing you down this way, but again, he uses the gun to send you through it, and then this really tight like compression of not only the gun fire, but this, it reads real quick, and you get that nice staccato bam 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 bam. I mean, not only because of the word balloon, but it's the spacing of it. It's tight, they're all equal sizes. Your mind can just read that really quick, so it's got a lot of speed, which is the effect that he wants, you know. I mean, he honestly is one of the best storytellers that we've looked at. I think Frank Miller is up there with that, and I know Frank gets a lot of dap just for just how important Dark Knight Returns was. But past that, Frank is actually a phenomenal storyteller. Mazzucchelli is up there with him. They really really get the that the strengths of what a comic book can be, you know. A lot of people tell comic book stories, but there's layers and levels to it that are really wild. So this is interesting. I swear to God, I thought that this was more stories. This is a long book, though. Maybe let's start moving a little tiny bit quicker through some of these pages. I want to see some of their stuff. Wow, it's nice. Yeah, it's just difficult to tell if this was traditional or not based on these scans. So I just don't want to guess. He's so cool. That's nice. Okay. Again, we're gonna kind of move through this because I wanna get to some of the other stories. I skipped a page. Sorry. Unless something's exceptional, we'll just kind of move through these a little quicker, real quick, because I don't want this video to be too long. I actually got to work. But yeah, so in the next 2 weeks, I'll start posting like Blaster Kid related stuff. I'm just going to kind of suck it up and get going on it in terms of like posting things. But it's not like it has been static, but it's just telling a war type story and then dealing with what was going on with my dad was like the two just weren't blending well, honestly. It's like I just want something fun in my life and something entertaining. I can't deal with darkness and death and like all this like shit. It's too much. It's tough too because I was raised by my grandfather after my parents got divorced, and my grandfather was in the Marine Corps for 30 years and he fought in 3 wars. So it's like my whole family is military. We've got a bunch of people that were killed in different wars, but yeah, my grandfather fought in China before World War II when the Japanese were invading China. So he was called a China Marine, where the Americans went down there and fought in China. Then he fought in World War II, and then he fought in Korea. So my grandfather was gnarly, but a great guy and very, very nice person. But he raised me, but there was a lot of trauma with that too. So I've had quite a stressful upbringing in terms of that. It's rough, man. It's pretty rough. I swear to God there was another freaking book in this. Maybe not. Alright, well, let's see. What can I do? I think what I'm going to do is let me just... Okay, here we go. Oh, wait. Is this Pearson? Okay, cool. Alright, yeah. Oh, that's the end of the book. Alright, hold on one sec. I hate to rush through these pages. I just want to show you some of the different styles that he worked in. Let me just skip down to here really quick. This looks different. Let me see something. Yeah, here we go. Is this? Yeah, here we go. This is from a different comic, because I have this comic book. I recognize it. I knew there was another story. This is cool too. If you're a fan of like if you're a fan of what you're about to see, Robert Valley is freaking great. Look up Robert Valley. Robert Valley does tons of this like fisheye car stuff with like attractive girls and stuff like that. He's great. Yeah, Pearson does some of the coolest cars in comics, I think. Like, they're always not only beautiful models that he picks, but his shots are just killer, and the way that he puts the black and the chrome sort of like highlights is just awesome. Okay, let me shut this. Oh man, it's so good. Okay, so we'll start looking at the storytelling on this one and the next page. This is nice. I mean, you figure it's got this really great sort of like, this is all kind of one sort of like moment, and then it sort of opens up here. I feel like this is kind of more of an intense conversation, and he really sort of like wraps up the first sort of moment with this. And then this sort of is the continuation of it, but this almost feels like its own little sort of series. And I think her flipping him off is like kind of the exclamation point at the end of that little sentence. And then here it opens up. There's more dialogue. It's like there's a little bit of breathing room, and then she reacts to it. It's nice, really subtle, but quite well done. And yeah. Even this, do you notice this, that this isn't straight up and down? It's really subtle, but I would rather see people just tweak it that little bit. I'll just do this, but you'll see what I'm talking about, though. So look how subtle that is from being off on a straight line. It's really not that much, but resist the urge to do that. It looks a little weird because you can't see the thing, but straight up and down, it's just not as exciting. That is just a little bit, tiny bit more interesting. Very subtle, though, you know. And I know that people would notice that. Me pointing it out isn't like I'm not some hero or something, but I'm just saying. Okay, and this is, I don't know, I think this is from a different story, or maybe not. This is great. This looks like earlier body bags to me, and I'm kind of going on memory. I haven't looked at the comics in a long time. Even this color palette kind of at the time was a little bit unique to Jason. Like he had definitely had an interesting sort of view of color. Oh my gosh, that's so great. I guess it was a 2-page spread, but that is so nice. And again, that sort of stretched perspective that he uses is just so cool. This is really nice, man. Well, I hope this is fun, and for the people that have been requesting Jason, that this scratches that itch and then makes you want to pull out your Jason Pearson comics and realize how hard this stuff is to do. He is legit. That's really cool. Oh, he did a book for Wildstorm. Or I don't know if it ever came out or not. It was an Indian character, not Rainmaker, I don't think. But if anyone can remember what it was, let me know. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then maybe it never came out. He was working on a mini-series or a one-shot for Wildstorm. I have photocopies of it somewhere. As he was turning it in, somehow I came across like I got a set of them. But yeah, I can't remember if it ever got published. This is great. Man, it just looks so right on. This is really good too. Yeah, this is a good way to start the day, man. This is some good vitamins to put in your artistic brain. Again, do you see how the shape of the car is always sort of morphing? This is what you don't get with you know, lightboxing 3D models, and you know, obviously you can kick these things in Photoshop and sort of like warp and distort them, but it's like this feels like Jason Pearson. This doesn't feel like you know, someone lightboxing stuff. There's definitely a difference. This is great. Oh man, that's so cool. Whew, God dang. This is a really, really amazing page. Let's look at the small. He's just got this. There's this great sweeping motion going like through here, and I'm not completely convinced that the color isn't helping it quite a bit, but everything is really just working together great. And then this just swings you right back around, and then bam, man, that is just awesome. I mean, you could argue that you kind of come in and this. Yeah, this is how you want to set up your figures. You want to have them juxtaposed where, like, do you see this? He's got this nice sweep going like this. And then this comes around and this goes like this. I mean, these are just really, really beautifully animated and directed poses. It's just so good. So fucking good. Go, Jason. Go, Jason. Bam. This is nice because this is kind of a paused beat. He really sort of like, because you stop here and her legs are going like this, it's like you just stop right here for many reasons. No, but I think you get what I'm saying. Is like, it's like he throws her and man, it's just like, man, you're really locked into this. And then this is kind of a fresh beat in the storytelling. It's like he opens up, you know, and this is you know, another pause. So it's like bam, bam, action, and then we're moving out. And this is, you know, the repetitiveness of this stat really makes this kind of pop. Because if you, it's interesting. Oh, he got hit. Okay, I was almost thinking she shot him, and I was like, it's weird that he went that way, but he's getting hit by the car and then he flips over. Man, that's gnarly. What a cool idea. Alright. This is going to be a long video, but because I'm doing less videos, it's okay. I won't do Super Fun Sunday tomorrow. I mean, this is going to be it, obviously. I've got stuff to do, so. And it's the Super Bowl, although I'm not, I'm working, so I'm not even going to, I'll probably put it on, but I'm not going to any party or anything. Okay. So, Theories of Violence Volume 2. I'm going to have to, it would be hard for me to find all my Pearson comics right now, but I'm kind of curious of, I'm nearly sure I got everything that he did, but you never know. It was tough to follow his career at some points just because it was like there was large gaps, so. I would buy all these in Absolute Edition too, to be honest, because I do actually like the colors quite a bit. So, I mean, if they did like oversized Absolutes or like Omnibus, I'm not a big fan of the Omnibus size. I don't like how thick the books are. They're a little unwieldy, but Absolutes are like less pages. Maybe they're like 12 issues, but they're larger. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what are they, 10 by 14 or something like that? This is nice. Again, his reflective light on the car surfaces is really, really cool. Look at that, like that. The colors just make it look really killer. But I mean, you can see even on this that the style is a little different, and I think as we move along, when this ends, you'll notice even more. But I would say Body Bags had kind of 3 sort of like iterations of looks, and they weren't like completely drastic changes, but they definitely enough time went by throughout the series that he would come back to it with fresh. I like this too. This is really nice. Very stylish, but it just looks cool. Look at this figure. Man, it's so great. Well, you know, we talk about anatomy and stuff like that here, and then more on my Patreon. We go through stuff like this, but I mean, this is cartoon anatomy. I mean, he's indicating some muscles, but you know, you can get away with stuff like this as long as you keep your figures consistent. I mean, it's like, you know, did Jack Kirby draw real anatomy? Did, you know, is this, you know, it's close enough and it's consistent enough that it just works. It looks cool. And it's not to say that Jason doesn't know his anatomy, because he clearly does. But yeah, it's quite nice. You just want to make sure that your directive lines and stuff like that are doing the right things, because that's where it starts to send a weird message. It's like, you don't want muscles going directions that they don't go. I'm gonna grab the hand. He's crazy looking. That's so funny. This is nice. Yep, really, really good. Man, the guy is so talented. Okay, looks like we're going to get to another story, which is good. That's what I wanted to see. Oh, wow. This is like the Punisher, what do they call it? Armory. I love those. I would buy back issues of the Punisher because they were pretty cheap. Like, they would be in dollar boxes or whatever. But yeah, the Punisher Armory were fun, where they would go through all the like crazy weapons and stuff that either he used or made. See, this is a little different. This is nice. God, man. God, so cool. This is quite detailed, honestly. And this is a lot of characters on this page. Holy moly. All this, I mean, imagine drawing this and then you're penciling and inking it too. You've got like this would take a while, and then this isn't so bad. It's got a wheelchair and her upside down. I mean, it's not an easy thing to draw. This is great, and then all this is very, very cool. Yeah. Man, he was so driven. This is passion right here, man. You can just see it and feel it. This dude was so into this stuff. This is great. And this is her early look when she had the... Man. Those big word balloons. It's weird seeing it in the middle of the page. I don't know why, but it's like tripping me out. I mean, obviously that's where he wanted it, because he put everything here, but yeah, that's a little... feels weird. That's a lot of dialogue. The lettering seems big on these pages. I don't know if I'm tripping. It just seems like a little, like... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was just less talking on the pages, or I don't know. When I watch this back, I'll see it kind of with more clear eyes. Yeah, these are a lot. It's a lot of panels and a lot of drawings. God dang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A lot of characters. Wow. Whoa. Cool. If you haven't ever seen it, I would definitely check out Dave Johnson's Chain Gang War. It was a DC book from way back. I always thought it was kind of fun, and it sort of has like sort of tough guys that sort of have this vibe. Cully Hamner did a book called Firearm, and Stelfreeze... I'm trying to remember what book Stelfreeze did. Brian Stelfreeze is great. If you haven't checked out his work, I would definitely I would Google him or Fallen. This is nice. It's interesting too because if you look at these pages, although there is quite a bit of black on them, it's not as window crazy and stuff. I mean, it's a different story, obviously, but yeah, I mean, he ramped up that sort of Blade Runner-esque sort of city stuff. That's a cute outfit she's in. That's funny. Oh, I get it. Her skirt's up. All right. What do we got? Whoa. Wrong one. This is nice. Oh, cool. And so now we're going to get another story. Let's see what we got. This should be fun. I'm curious to see what it looks like. Wow. This is Pearson? This doesn't look like Pearson. Maybe it is. We'll see in a sec. I'm going to try to... Well, I don't know if I want to guess. I have a hunch. Is there a name? No, not yet. All right, let's see what we can find. Oh, maybe this is Jason. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I'm really not sure. So I don't. Well, we'll see. We'll get a vibe as we see more pages. I've never seen this. I definitely don't have this in comic form, as far as I know, unless it's a backup story that I just don't remember. This, I'm like, that looks like Pearson. It also kind of looks like Michael Golden, like really stripped down, but. I mean, a good cartoonist is going to get those types down anyway and be able to, like, just based on the proportions and sort of size relationships of things, is get it. Oh, this could be Jason. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyone know? I wasn't paying attention if there was a credits page as we went into it. This looks like Pearson. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird not having all the black. It's quite well done. This is a great little gesture this guy's got, and this is all real nice. Hit the extras. Okay. Oh yeah, this is old school. Wow. Man, that is so awesome. I love that they're covered in blood. Oh my god, that's hysterical. So funny. Oh man, yes. Yes, yes, yes. So when he started dropping his blacks in Photoshop, the one thing that I noticed is that they were dead black, which is good and bad. It looks pretty sexy on his stuff, but you kind of want to sometimes be aware of that when you drop those super flat blacks. You see people kind of trying to break them up now with like splatter brushes and stuff like that, but it can almost look too flat. I mean, he went in here with obviously like a little bit of white, but yeah, I'm gonna guess that these are digital blacks and maybe the art was traditionally done. Again, it's a guess though. I don't know that for a fact, but I do know for a fact that he wasn't filling in his blacks at one point because I've seen the originals and they didn't have the blacks filled in. This is nice. Oh man, in my junior high school, Lowrider magazine was a pretty big deal because I live pretty close to Mexico, and man, the cars and the graffiti were so cool. This is nice. I don't remember this piece. I sort of remember this, but I don't remember this. Man, he's so good. The world needs more Jason Pearsons, meaning just people that are willing to commit to their art to this level. Stuff is badass. He did a great Vampirella piece. You can Google it, and it was a commission that he did for someone, I think, or maybe it was like a pinup, or it might have been a 2-page spread, like gallery or something for Vampirella. But it's pretty nice. It was quite a long time ago now, but I thought it was a very, very cool piece. Man, that is great. Oh boy, look at that. Man, that is so cool. Well, this was a fun video. One shot. I'm assuming that was the continuation of that other piece. But it looked similar. Oh, here we go. This is nice. Oh, okay, how funny. Oh, okay, interesting. So this is black and whites of the stuff that we were just looking at. It's nice. Holds up well. I mean, it still reads well. These guys were, say the Blanc Noir paper. That's like a little bit of the Gaijin paper. Adam Hughes would work on that paper too. They had their own kind of like, whatever you want to call it, like I forget what they call that the area, like the full bleed and crops and all that. Like were sort of customized for their studio. Cool. Yeah, it reads quite clear, honestly. This page is a little harder to read, but I think that this overall, I mean, you can really kind of see what's going on. The blacks help. I mean, it helps frame this guy's face, and the black on this also helps. This is nice. This is really cool. All right, we're getting towards the end of this. Thank you guys all for following me on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed yet, obviously do it. I'm not going to bug you about hitting the notification bell. That's a personal preference. And I generally don't even throw this stuff in. And then you can also follow me on Patreon. I've got probably somewhere between 300 and 400 videos up there. I upload all the time. Probably too much. You'll never get through all my Patreon videos. I can pretty much guarantee that even people that have been there since the beginning haven't made it through everything. So we're doing a perspective series right now with Marcos Mateo Mestri, which is actually getting into like some really, really kind of kick-ass stuff with figures. So it should be a fun ride as we continue through the second volume of the book. But I want to finish the first one. Oh, this is interesting. So this must have been Jason's stuff. Okay. Somehow we... oh, maybe, did we miss this page? Or maybe this page was in it and I... didn't see the credit. It's interesting. So he did it in values. That's cool. So this may have been all done digitally. I don't know that for a fact, though. But I'm willing to say that. And there's, you know, look, if you like this, there's even stuff that's, if not as good, but better throughout the different series that he did. Because this definitely didn't have all the stuff that I remember. So, I mean, this is volume 2 of obviously a collection. But yeah, if you like this, definitely seek this stuff out. Father's Day, yes, that was the volume 1. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you want to get Father's Day and then Theories of Violence. And you be happy. All right, have a great day. And yeah, I will be back probably next week with something. And yeah, you know, have a good one. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.